And hello, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the presentation today, and obviously some great information. At this point, I get to introduce somebody live from Houston, California. No, Houston, Texas. Scott Lewis. Let's bring on my good friend, Scott Lewis. And Scott, welcome to the big show. And where there he is, he's piping in there. Hey, Scott, how you doing today?
I'm great, Brent. Good to see you.
Right on, man. I love that Houston twang. You get that little Texas thing going on.
Yeah, it's a little Texas thing. It's hard to
Do you
hide.
hear it? Do you actually hear it at all? Does it sound like an accent?
I don't hear it.
Do I sound like I have an accent to you out here in California?
You sound like a surfer dude.
I just got out of the ocean, so I get it. I only have one arm left. Anyway, so Scott Lewis, man, great to have you here today. I wanted to interview you and just ask you a little bit about your background. I mean, you're a superstar in real estate. Your achievements are, in fact, I want you to brag a little. Tell everybody a little bit about who Scott Lewis is. And brag, I'm giving you permission to brag. I want people to know who you are before we talk about why you chose it.
That's hard to do, Brent. You're putting me on the spot. But
I'm putting you on the spot.
You know, you want me to talk about eXp, prior to eXp? What do you want?
I want you to give a quick Cliff Notes version of how long you've been in real estate and what you did prior to eXp. So I want you to brag up until the point of eXp. Then I'm going to jump back in.
Yeah, so I started my first business when I was 17, Brent. I've never gotten a paycheck.
Wow.
So that's kind of crazy. I wouldn't know what that felt like. Although as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you can relate, there were many times when I wish I could get a paycheck, right?
Right.
There was times it's like, where is the paycheck, right? Yeah. But, you know, I've enjoyed it. I've learned lots of things. I wouldn't trade my life as an entrepreneur for anything. Started my first marketing company in Houston, Texas called Unicorp Marketing. Eventually grew that to, $20, $30 million a year. We were doing marketing on the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, and the Senior PGA Tour for many years. So I love golf, so I got to travel to a lot of great golf courses and hang out with professional golfers and have a marketing company at the same time.
Side note, I've gotten to golf with this man, and he is a ringer. Do not bet him. He actually has won his club championship. I learned all that after I bet him. And let's say I've had to buy him a few golf polos. He's the
shirt
guy's
you're
a
wearing is
madman
probably
golf.
one I bought because you know
This
I
could
think
be a shirt you
beat me the last 2 or 3 times we played. So that's a good looking shirt, by the way. I like that one.
Thank you. It's got the cool little neck stuff. Anyway, so keep going. You're doing good.
Oh, okay. So, you know, man, I've owned a lot of companies. I built another corporation called Sunjoy Corporation. We were building products, manufacturing outdoor entertainment products, sold them in all kinds of retail, Sounds, Costco, Walmart.
Wow.
Big retailers. That was moons ago. I sold that company, got into real estate about 10 years ago. 12, 13 years ago. I got in as an investor, Brent. I was not licensed. I bought a franchise. And let's just say of all the businesses that I've owned, and I've owned a few, some were very successful, others were, I wouldn't even talk about them. They were so bad, right? But, you know, I would say that the franchise real estate model ranks in the definitely bottom tier of any business model I ever purchased.
So you did not enjoy that experience?
You know, it wasn't that there were things that I enjoyed. I love real estate agents. I love the industry, but the model itself was awful. It just, as a business model, I said, man, this is one of the worst business models you could ever own.
Now, here's the funny thing. We won't say the name of that franchise, but it's one of the largest franchises in the country. And didn't you take it, become one of the largest franchisors? Like, in other words, your particular office, wasn't it doing really well? Or
it was a very large franchise. It was a very large franchise. At one time, you know, almost 300 agents in San Antonio, Texas, did very well in the rankings. But bottom line, Brent, when you look at, you know, after-tax money and the amount of work that went into it, it was not worth the investment. That's
And
just
you got the plaques, the trophies, the accolades, just like agents who sell 100 homes a year and then they spent $1 million on marketing and they made nothing.
right.
But we have trophies and plaques. Even as a franchise owner, you got the same trophies and plaques. It's so funny.
And it's interesting because, and you're exactly right. When I look back on it, I go, as an investor, I think I have a different perspective because I didn't get into real estate as an agent, although, eventually got my license and then, rode that into Keller Williams, where, I had one of the top teams. I was actually recruiter of the year globally for Keller, thinking that was going to be a big deal. And, it just, because it's profit share and because of the company, it never made much money. And so I would say I was not real enchanted about real estate when a gentleman by the name of Rob Flick called me and shared the eXp model. Matter of fact, I said, Rob, what are you thinking? I said, you and I've done a lot of businesses. Why would you get back into real estate? I said, I couldn't even fathom it because I knew his lifestyle. He's been retired for 15 years. I said, that's crazy. I said, I'll listen, but I can tell you right now, I'm not interested.
So you listened kind of like this, arms crossed, legs crossed, eyes crossed, and then what happened after you saw him explain? Everyone just watched me explain the eXp. So when you saw what everybody just saw, what was your thinking process?
Yeah, well, there's a quote, a gentleman that's come on the scene long after I did, who's just exploding this business. His name is Jay Kinder. And I know you're highly responsible for bringing Jay to the company. He's been a game changer for our industry. But he said something that I had often thought, but never said it the way he said it.
He put it into words, right?
He put it into words, and I'm like, you're exactly right. Once you see it, if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're a visionary, or if you've built businesses like you have, Brent, and the grind and the success, but of the up and downs, you can't unsee it, And so that happened to me. I mean, Jay was exactly right. I mean, once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And it was like, okay, now you've seen this. What are you going to do with it?
Exactly. So let me ask you a question. What was it that got your interest? I mean, and everyone just watched. There's the lead generation, there's education and training, there's stock awards. What I didn't mention is we now have healthcare. We're one of the only companies in America in real estate offering healthcare to our agents at a group rate and a discount. And then the revenue share. So what was it for you? I know for what it was for me. Was it stock, rev share? Was it leads, training? What kind of clicked for you?
Well, it was several things. It was the model. And when I say that, what I mean is it was, and I love what Gene Frederick says, we're not out of the box. We're an entirely new box.
Right.
And until people get that, it's hard to explain, but, there's so many things that make it radically different that, you really have to dive in and say, okay, what's the best thing in here for me? And then leverage that. For me, it was leveraging the revenue share because I've been successful at building teams my entire life. I love that. I love helping people. And as an entrepreneur, when you get rewarded for doing that, there's nothing else like it, and so it was definitely, the stock was great. I was using conversion at Keller Williams for my team, so I already knew how explosive that was. So that was an $800 a month savings for me immediately, but I didn't care about that. The stock didn't mean a lot, although I said the stock is huge, didn't mean much to me. But when I saw
Same here.
When I saw the revenue share capabilities, and because I'm a numbers guy, I always tell people I have spreadsheets for my spreadsheets. I mean, I'm an analytical, I drove Gene Frederick crazy the first month because I asked him 10,000 questions, but I wanted to know the numbers. And the numbers don't lie. That's my favorite saying. Numbers don't lie.
Do the math.
I owe it to you to dig in and do the math. And once you do that, you can't say no to this opportunity because you would be saying no to your future and saying no to your family. And who's going to do that? But most people, Brent, I say most people, the average agent doesn't ever take the time to really dive in. They say, oh, I know all about eXp. They don't. Because if they
Right.
did, they
They'd
would
be
be here.
here. Yes.
That's right.
They know what their manager told them from XYZ franchise,
Yep.
or the franchise owner, or one of their friends who's a blowhard, right? And they're just rah, rah, rah. Oh yeah, I know all about it. And man, I thought I knew all about Keller Williams. So I went to Keller Williams and I was blown away. And I thought there was no difference between RE/MAX and Keller Williams. And having been at RE/MAX for 12 years and been the #1 agent in transaction sale count in 2005 at the Boom, that's a good state to be the top dog with 10,000 other people. And 8 years at Keller Williams, there was no comparison. No offense to our RE/MAX friends watching this right now, but I've been at both companies, and there was like zero comparison.
You're right.
If you're not, between RE/MAX and Keller Williams, you're crazy to be at RE/MAX. You should be at Keller Williams. I've been at both. I was a Stars number 11 worldwide. There is no comparison. Keller Williams blows RE/MAX off the map. So here I am at Keller Williams thinking I'm at the greatest company in the world. Nobody can even handle a candle to Keller Williams, a Bic lighter. They're different universes. So then I watch eXp, just like you, arms crossed, did it for a friend, Sheila Bergeron, and okay, I'll take a look at it. And by the end of the thing, I'm like sitting up on my phone going, or my laptop going, are you serious? Is this for real? So let me ask you a question. A lot of people get excited about lead generation because their agents are getting 60, 80, 100 leads a month. Other people, it's the 50 hours of training, education, the masterminding, commercial real estate, residential, luxury, investment real estate, all the masterminds that happen in the world. It's crazy. I think we have it's just a crazy live content, raise your hand, ask questions, cloud-based. Some people get pumped about. Other people I meet, and it shocks me, but they're like, the stock's what brought me here. I want to own the company I work at. Right. Working at a company that's agent owned through the shares. But for you and me, it was the same thing. It was a revenue share. So I have a question for you. When you saw what everyone just saw, was it the stock? What did you see? Did you see 100,000 a year revenue share? I'm just curious. Did you see 300? Did you see 1 million? What was it? I have a specific number that kind of made me step up and go, that's different. What was your number? I have no idea what you're going to say. Was it making 100,000 a year, 500, 1 million, 2 million? What was the number that got your attention?
Well, I can tell you exactly because, well, first I want to say that there was really no one in the company. There were 600 agents, and there were rumors of a couple people that were maybe making, 5 to 10,000 a month in revenue share at that time. But,
which is 60 to 120,000 a year outside of sales.
Right, which is significant, but there was no real, there was no one really touting that or saying much about it. And so we didn't, we're kind of just going, okay, well, what are the real numbers? And, I can tell you by looking at the old company, I'm not going to use their name, but the one that you were just referring to, I knew from being recruiter of the year in 2012, I knew exactly how much money I made per year per agent. And it was $86 per year per agent in my organization. And, it didn't take long after a few months to go at $86 a year per agent. I don't know if I got enough life left in me to build a big enough organization to ever be able to create something significant and to warrant the amount of time and energy that it took to build the organization. When I looked at the eXp model and ran the numbers, I said, it could be anywhere from 2,800 to 400, depending on the level. But and if they cap, it's 3,200 on the second level, whatever the number is. Let's just average it out and say if every agent averages $1 million a year in sales, that's about $1,000 a year at eXp that you would make per agent on your team. And so that was my number in the beginning. And my goal was to make $500,000 a year residually in 3 years. So I had it written everywhere, Brent, and it was my goal to make $500,000 a year, and I had a 3-year goal, and I started that about 1 month into eXp when I started. Of course, at that time, I was the first agent in San Antonio. Every agent had never heard of eXp. You would call an agent, and it was like, what? ESP? What is it? they'd never heard of it. But so it was building a vision, it was building a dream at that point that didn't exist.
By the way, I want to stop you. People are funny. Back then, it was like, well, no one's heard of it. I can't do it. Nobody's heard of it. Now it's like, well, I can't do it. Everyone's heard of it. Right. Isn't it funny?
It is.
We're just doing it, man. We're just doing it. I mean, you can find every excuse under the moon why you shouldn't clean the garage, wash your car, brush your teeth, or you could get on with life. But I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. It was funny what you said.
You know what they say about
your number was 500,000 a year.
Yeah.
That was your number.
That was it. And, you know, actually achieved that in about 14, 15 months, something like that.
Wow. So to the point you're making enough monthly to earn 500,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So my number was, there was this 5-year plan someone laid out for me to make 2.1 million a year in revenue share outside of my sales team. And I went, wow, I've never seen that. No one's ever mapped out a plan to make 2.1 million a year outside of real estate sales. I go, man, if it's even half that good, $1 million or 500,000, I'm in, because I've never seen what kind of money do you have to invest to make 500,000 a year cash flow?
Whoa.
Seriously, it's big money. 500, $500,000 a year cash flow. What kind of money do you got? It's huge.
Or how many investment homes do you have to own to do that, right?
Yes, yes. So here's the cool thing. At the time, nobody had done it. And I'm proud to say in my 3rd year, in 1 year, I made 3.5 million. So there's the 2.1 million was my goal. And by my 3rd year, which was last year, I earned $3.5 million in a single year.
Yeah.
And so, wow. You know, you hit your goals, and then I know you've obliterated them. And then I've hit my goals and obliterated them. And there's 25 million agents and brokers worldwide, 208 countries, 2 million in North America alone, US and Canada. We're going to have about 400,000 in the US and Canada. You are not too early. You're not too late. There's 370,000 coming. We've gone from those 500-600 agents Scott talked about 3.5, 4 years ago to 30,000. And if 600 agents could become 30,000, what could 30,000 become in the next 3, 4, 5 years? 400,000. No problem is going to happen. You could watch it happen and go, I wish I tried. Or you could join Scott Lewis, myself, Brent Gove, and give it a shot. But it might not work. Scott, you know what my big plan was? I'm going to give eXp, this beautiful company right here, they got 6 months. And in 6 months, it's either going to work or not work. I'm not buying a building. I'm not signing a commercial lease. I'm not buying a franchise. And in fact, if I don't like it in a month, I'll leave in a month. I was so okay going to eXp and failing, going back to Keller Williams, it didn't work. And then they all laugh at me. Ha, ha, ha. You're such a sucker, Gove. You know, we told you it wouldn't work. And I'm like, okay, you done? I've built my life on failure, man. I've taken it on the chin so many times. That's why I'm successful. You guys are so afraid to fail. I want you to get out there and try stuff. I don't care if it's hawking pizzas or calling the expireds or doing open houses or doing internet marketing. I did TV and bombed. I never did succeed. I did radio 3 times, failed twice, but succeeded massively the 3rd time. I think the key to success is failure. And quit playing it so doggone safe. Quit dying with your music in you. I want to break my laptop right now. Get out there and try. It doesn't have to be eXp. Go do some investing. Do some flipping. Take calculated risks. But man, this is one thing, Scott. I'm going to ask you a question. This is an ego risk. I'm not asking you for 40 grand or 100 grand to buy a franchise or 200 grand and to rent a building and do TIs and put $100,000 of tenant improvements in that building. We're not doing any of that. We're asking you to give it a shot. Talk to some people and watch what happens. It's your ego. Do you agree that this is an ego risk, nothing more, not a capital risk?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an ego risk for sure. And, the thing is, like you said, just put it on the line. What's the worst thing that can happen? You fail and you have to go back. Wherever you're at, they're going to take you back. If you leave the right way, don't burn bridges. Come give it a shot. You're never going to know until you try, right?
Here's the funny thing. Not only will they take you back, they'll give you 100% for a year in a private office. And even throw some leads at you from the front desk. Right. So you'll actually make money even if you don't make money at eXp. They'll be so thrilled that you come back. and you could tell everyone eXp didn't work, and you could quietly have 100% for a year or two because they're scared to death of eXp, because we are the next Facebook. We are the next Google. We are the next Airbnb, Netflix, Uber. We are the deal in real estate. Nobody has grown like we're growing. We shattered the two megastar predecessors, which was Remax and Keller Williams. We obliterated and shattered their growth goals. It took them, I think, 19 and 20 years to reach 20,000 agents. We did it in 10. We cut it in half. Why? Because our agents own the company they work at. Come on, man.
It's
I'm
coming,
just so excited.
I don't know if you saw it today, but we hit 30,000 agents today. So I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it happened.
I didn't even know, but we were knocking on the door.
Right. So here we go. And next thing, it'll be 40, and then 50, like you said, 100,
awesome.
200. And I think we're going to hit 1 million, Brent. I really do. Worldwide, I think we're going to hit 1 million agents. And yeah, we're still early to the party. This bus is just getting rolling. Come join us. Thanks for having me, Brent. This has been awesome.
Thanks for being in.
Your team. I love you guys. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you for being on. And like Scott Lewis said, do the math, look at the models, look at the science, ask 1 million questions. The more you ask, the more you learn. You will join us, and we're going to help you. We work for you. You don't work for us. It's upside down. In the franchise kingdom, you work for the franchisors and the people who own that system, not at eXp, baby. Love you all. We're opening 40 countries in the next 10 years. Come be a part of the movement. Welcome to eXp. Catch you later. Scott, thank you.
Brent. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. See you, man. Bye-bye. We got